He was 30 minutes from saying, "I do." Then he saw them. 3 pairs of eyes. His eyes. Staring back at him from a bus stop. The woman holding their hands. The one who vanished 5 years ago without a word. His fiancée is 3 months pregnant. His empire doesn't forgive weakness. And those children. They don't even know his name. He built a kingdom on control. But some truths can't be buried. What happens when the past you escaped comes back? Holding your blood? The city didn't know how to be quiet. It screamed in car horns and construction, and 1,000 overlapping conversations that blurred into static. But inside the black SUV cutting through downtown Los Angeles, there was only silence. Devin Kang adjusted his cufflinks. Italian silk. Midnight black. The same color as the empire he'd inherited at 24 and rebuilt with blood and precision. His reflection in the tinted window showed nothing. No nerves, no hesitation. Just the face of a man who'd learned long ago that emotion was a luxury kings couldn't afford. "Traffic's clear ahead, sir," his driver said softly. Devin didn't respond. He was thinking about the courthouse, about the woman sitting beside him, scrolling through wedding photos on her phone, about the child growing inside her, Victoria Chen. Beautiful, intelligent, the daughter of his father's oldest ally. Their marriage wasn't love, it was strategy, a merger of 2 criminal dynasties that would make them untouchable. She glanced at him and smiled. Nervous? No. Liar. Her laugh was light, practiced. It's okay to be human sometimes, Devin. Human. The word felt foreign. He'd stopped being human the night he watched his father executed in their own living room. 13 years old, kneeling in his father's blood, learning that sentiment was suicide. We'll be late if we don't. The car stopped. Red light. Corner of 5th and Spring. Nothing unusual. Just a Thursday morning in a city that never cared who you were or what you carried. But Devin's gaze drifted left, and the world stopped spinning. She was standing at a bus stop, holding 3 small hands. Her hair was longer now, pulled back in a messy bun. She wore jeans and a faded jacket. Nothing like the woman he'd known 5 years ago. But her face, God, her face. It was carved into his memory like a scar that never healed. Amara. His chest tightened, his hands, always steady, curled into fists. She was laughing at something one of the children said. A little girl with pigtails, a boy with glasses, another boy gripping a stuffed dinosaur. Triplets. 4 years old, maybe. Their skin a warm brown, their hair thick and dark, and their eyes. Devin's breath caught. Black. Almond-shaped, sharp at the edges, his eyes. Devin? Victoria's voice felt distant, underwater. You okay? He couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't look away. The boy with the dinosaur turned his head. For a split second, their eyes met through the tinted window. The child blinked, smiled, waved. Devin's heart slammed against his ribs. The light turned green. Sir? The driver asked. Drive. But his voice cracked. Just barely. Just enough. Victoria leaned closer, frowning. What's wrong? Nothing. You're pale. I said it's nothing. She pulled back, her expression hardening. Don't lie to me. Not today. Devin forced himself to breathe, to think, to calculate. But the numbers didn't add up. The timeline didn't make sense. 5 years ago, Amara had left. No warning, no explanation. Just a note on his pillow that said, I'm sorry. He'd searched for her, spent a fortune. Used every connection, every informant, every shadow in his network. She'd vanished like smoke. And now she was here, with 3 children. His children. The SUV pulled up to the courthouse. Victoria was already stepping out, adjusting her dress. Devin sat frozen, staring at his hands. They were shaking. Devin. Her voice was sharp now, impatient. Let's go. He forced himself to move, to stand, to walk. But his mind was back at that bus stop. Those three faces, that smile, that wave. Inside the courthouse, everything was sterile. White walls, polished floors. A woman behind a desk asked for their IDs. Victoria was talking, laughing, playing the role of the excited bride. Devon signed his name on a form. His handwriting looked wrong, jagged, unfamiliar. "Just a few more minutes," the clerk said. "The officiant is finishing up with another couple." Victoria squeezed his arm. "This is it." He nodded. But he wasn't there. He was 5 years in the past, in a small apartment in Koreatown. Amara asleep beside him, her hand resting on his chest, the first and only time he'd felt like he could breathe. Then the morning she was gone. "Mr. Kang?" He blinked. The officiant was standing in front of him, an older man with kind eyes. "Are you ready?" Devon looked at Victoria. She was radiant, composed, everything a queen should be. He thought about the child inside her. 3 months. A boy, the doctor said, his heir, his future. Then he thought about the bus stop, about 3 pairs of eyes that looked like his, about the woman who'd taught him what it felt like to be human. "Mr. Kang?" the officiant repeated. Devon's phone buzzed. Once, twice. He pulled it out. A message from his head of security. No words, just a photo. It was Amara, at the bus stop, with the children. The message below read, "Ran facial recognition. 98% DNA match probability. All 3. Sir, they're yours." Devon's vision blurred. His pulse roared in his ears. Victoria was staring at him. "Devon, what's—" He turned and walked out. "Devon!" He didn't stop, didn't look back. He pushed through the courthouse doors into the blinding California sun and pulled out his phone. "Find her," he said into the receiver. "Right now." "Who, sir?" "Amara Bennett. Last known location, 5th and Spring. She has 3 children. I want eyes on her in the next 5 minutes. Do not approach. Do not make contact. Just find her. Understood." He ended the call. His hand was still shaking. Behind him, the door opened. Victoria stood there, arms crossed, fury and confusion battling in her eyes. What the hell is going on? Devon didn't answer, because for the first time in 13 years, he didn't know. Amara Bennett had learned to disappear. It was a skill she'd perfected over 5 years. New city, new name, new life. She'd left behind designer dresses and penthouse views, and a man whose touch could silence the chaos in her head. She'd left behind Devon Kang, and she'd never looked back, until today. "Mommy, why did that car stop?" Elijah asked, tugging her sleeve. He was the middle child, always watching, always asking questions. "Just traffic, baby." She smiled and kissed the top of his head. "Come on, bus is almost here." But her hands were trembling. She'd seen the SUV, the tinted windows, the way it had paused just a second too long, and she'd felt it. That pull. That terrible magnetic gravity that only one person had ever had over her. No, it couldn't be him. Not here. Not now. "Mommy, I'm hungry," Zara whined, her pigtails bouncing as she hopped from foot to foot. "I know, love. We'll get breakfast after I drop you at daycare, okay? Can we get pancakes? Maybe." "You always say maybe," Micah muttered, clutching his stuffed dinosaur. The youngest by 2 minutes. The quiet one. Amara crouched down, meeting his eyes. "Maybe means I'll try my best. That's all I can promise." He nodded solemnly. Too serious for a 4-year-old. The bus pulled up. She herded the triplets on board, scanning each face in the street, looking for shadows, for threats. For him. But the sidewalk was empty. She exhaled. "You're paranoid. He doesn't know. He'll never know." Devon sat in the back of the SUV, staring at the photo on his phone. Amara. Older now. Tired, but still her. Still the woman who'd unraveled him without even trying. And the children. God. the children. Elijah, Zara, Micah. His security team had already pulled their birth certificates, their medical records, their daycare enrollment. All three born 5 years ago, September 14th, Los Angeles County Hospital. 9 months after the last night he'd spent with Amara. He did the math 3 times. It didn't change. Victoria's voice cut through his thoughts. She'd followed him into the car. "You're scaring me. Go back inside." "No." Her voice was ice now. "Tell me what's happening." Devin finally looked at her. Really looked. She deserved better than this. Better than him. But that wasn't how their world worked. "I saw someone I used to know." "Who?" "It doesn't matter. It clearly does." He didn't respond. His phone buzzed again. A location. Highland Park. 1847 Meridian Avenue. 3rd floor apartment. "I'll be back in an hour," he said. "We're supposed to get married in 20 minutes. Reschedule." Victoria's eyes went wide. "You're joking." "I'm not." "Davin, my father. I'll handle your father." "You'll handle him?" She laughed bitterly. "Do you have any idea what this looks like? What it means?" He met her gaze, cold, unyielding. "I said I'll handle it." She stared at him for a long moment. Then she grabbed her purse and got out of the car, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the frame. The driver glanced in the rearview mirror. "Where to, sir?" "Highland Park." The apartment was small. 3rd floor of a building that had seen better decades. Cracked paint, rusted railings. A far cry from the world Amara used to inhabit. Devin stood outside her door for a full minute. His hand hovered over the wood. He'd faced rival syndicates, corrupt politicians, men who would have killed him without a second thought. But this door terrified him. Finally he knocked. Footsteps, soft, hesitant. The door opened. And there she was. Amara's breath caught. Her eyes went wide. The color drained from her face. "No," she whispered. Devin's voice was quiet, lethal. "We need to talk." She tried to close the door. He stopped it with his hand. "Please." His voice cracked. "Just let me in." She stared at him. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Her hands shook. Finally, she stepped aside. The apartment was neat, modest. A couch with mismatched cushions. A small table covered in crayon drawings. Toys scattered across the floor. 3 toddler beds lined up against one wall. Davin's heart twisted. Amara stood with her arms crossed, her back to the window. "How did you find me?" "Does it matter?" "Yes. I have resources." "You mean you have spies?" He didn't deny it. She laughed bitterly. "Of course. I should have known I couldn't stay hidden forever." "Why did you run?" Her jaw tightened. "You know why?" "I don't." "Yes, you do." Her voice broke. "I couldn't raise children in your world, Devin. I couldn't let them grow up surrounded by violence and fear, and so you took them from me? I saved them from you." The words hit like bullets. Devin stepped closer. His voice was barely above a whisper. "They're mine. Don't. Say it. Devin, say it." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Yes, they're yours. All 3. The room went silent. Devin sank onto the couch. His hands covered his face. His shoulders shook. Amara watched him, her heart shattering all over again. "I didn't want this," she said softly. "I didn't want to hurt you." "But you did." "I know." He looked up at her. His eyes were red, raw. "I have a right to know them. You have a right to nothing." Her voice was steel now. "You chose your empire. You chose power. You chose a life that leaves no room for love or family or anything real. That's not... It is, and you know it." Silence stretched between them. Finally, Devin stood. "I'm not asking for permission, Amara. Those are my children. I will be part of their lives. And what about your fiancé, your empire, your other child?" He froze. How do you... I still have friends in Koreatown. I hear things. She wiped her eyes. You're about to be a father again. To a child you actually planned for. So go. Be with her. Build your dynasty. Leave us alone. Devin stared at her. Then, slowly, he walked to the door. But before he left, he turned back. I was never whole without you. And then he was gone. Devin didn't go back to Victoria. He sat in his car outside Amara's building for 3 hours, watching, thinking, unraveling. His phone buzzed endlessly. Messages from Victoria, from her father, from his own lieutenants asking where he was, what was happening, if the marriage was still on. He ignored them all. At 3:47 p.m., the door opened. Amara emerged with the triplets. They were laughing. Zara was skipping. Elijah carried a backpack covered in dinosaur stickers. Micah held his mother's hand. Devin's chest ached. He watched them walk to the corner store, watched Amara buy them ice cream, watched her crouch down to wipe chocolate from Micah's face. She was good at this. Being a mother, being present. Everything he wasn't. His phone rang. He answered without checking the ID. Where are you? Victoria's voice was sharp, cold. I'll explain. You left me at the courthouse, Devin. My father is furious. Your own people are asking questions. And you're explaining? I need time. Time? She laughed bitterly. We don't have time. This marriage is strategic. You know that. You agreed to it. I know. Then act like it. He closed his eyes. I can't marry you today. Silence. Then, is this about her? Devin's jaw tightened. It is. Victoria's voice dropped to a whisper. You saw an X, and suddenly everything we built means nothing. That's not... Do you have any idea what you're risking? My family won't tolerate disrespect. Your own organization won't tolerate weakness. And those children... She paused. They're hers, aren't they? Davin said nothing. My God. Victoria laughed bitterly. You found out you have kids and you're throwing everything away. I'm not throwing... Yes, you are. And when your enemies find out, when they realize you have 3 children with no protection, no security, living in some rundown neighborhood, they'll use them against you. They'll hurt them. And it'll be because you couldn't control yourself. The line went dead. Devin stared at the phone. She was right. His world didn't allow softness, didn't allow distractions. Every rival syndicate, every ambitious lieutenant, every Fed looking for leverage, they'd all see the same thing. Weakness. And in his world, weakness was fatal. He thought about Amara, about the triplets, about the tiny apartment with mismatched furniture and crayon drawings. He could walk away, pretend he'd never seen them, let them live their quiet, safe, invisible lives. Or he could claim them and paint a target on their backs. Amara put the children to bed that night with shaking hands. They'd asked about the man in the hallway, the one with the sad eyes. She'd lied, said he was lost, looking for someone else. Zara had tilted her head. He looked like Elijah. Amara's heart stopped. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Same eyes. Go to sleep, baby. But Zara's words echoed all night. Same eyes. Amara sat on her couch, staring at the door, waiting for another knock, another confrontation. She knew Devin. He wouldn't let this go. And she didn't know if that terrified her or gave her hope. Devin didn't sleep that night. He sat in his office on the 42nd floor of the Kang Tower, staring out at the city lights. Los Angeles stretched below him like a circuit board, glowing, pulsing, alive. From up here, everything looked controlled, orderly, safe, but he knew better. His empire wasn't built on skyscrapers and legitimate business fronts. It was built on fear, on loyalty purchased with blood, on a reputation so ruthless that enemies thought twice before breathing his name. And now he had 3 children. 3 perfect, innocent targets. His phone sat on the desk, screen dark. He'd ignored 47 calls. Deleted 63 messages. His organization was fracturing in real time, and he couldn't bring himself to care. All he could see was Elijah's face, Zara's pigtails, Micah's dinosaur, same eyes. The door opened without a knock. Only one person had that privilege. Jin Park, his second in command, childhood friend. The only man Devin trusted with his life. "You look like hell," Jin said, closing the door behind him. "I feel worse." Jin poured 2 glasses of whiskey and set one in front of Devin. Victoria's father called 3 times. He's threatening to pull his support. "Let him." "Devin," I said, "let him." Jin sat down, studying his friend's face. "This isn't about the wedding. What happened?" Devin took a long drink. The burn felt good, real. "I have children." The room went silent. Jin blinked. "What?" 3, triplets, 4 years old. "How?" "Amara." Jin's eyes widened. "The woman from 5 years ago? The one who disappeared?" "She didn't disappear. She ran." Devin's voice was hollow. "And she took my children with her." Jin leaned back, processing. "Does anyone else know?" "Not yet." "Good. Keep it that way." Jin's expression hardened. "If word gets out, every rival we have will go after them. You know that." "I know. So what's the play? Walk away? Pretend you never saw them?" Devin's jaw tightened. "I can't." "Then you need protection on them. Tonight, before sunrise. I'll put a team." "No. Devin, she'll run again if she sees armed men outside her door. Then she runs with security." Devin stood, pacing. "This isn't just about protection. I need to know them. I need them to know me." "And Victoria? The baby she's carrying?" Devin stopped. His hands curled into fists. "I don't know." Jin stood. "You don't have the luxury of I don't know. You're the head of this organization. Every decision you make ripples through 1,000 lives. You can't afford to be emotional." "I'm not being emotional." "Yes, you are. And it's going to get people killed." The words hung in the air like smoke. Devin turned back to the window. "What would you do?" Jin was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, I'd choose the Empire. I'd set up a trust fund for the kids. Make sure they're financially secure. Maybe arrange supervised visits. But I'd stay away. Because love is a liability in our world. That's not love. That's abandonment. That's survival." Devin closed his eyes. "I already abandoned them once. I didn't know they existed, but I abandoned Amara. I let her walk away because I was too consumed with this." He gestured at the city. "With building something that doesn't even make me happy. It's not about happiness. It's about legacy." "What legacy?" Devin's voice rose. "An empire built on blood and fear? Children who don't know my name? A son I'll raise to be as empty as I am?" Jin stepped closer. "You're spiraling." "I'm waking up." "You're making a mistake." Devin turned to face him. "Maybe, but it's mine to make." Across the city, Amara couldn't sleep either. She stood in the doorway of the children's room, watching them breathe. Elijah had kicked off his blanket. Zara was curled around her stuffed bunny. Micah slept on his stomach, one arm dangling off the bed. They were perfect. And she'd built this life to keep them safe. But now Devin knew. And everything she'd sacrificed. The luxury, the security, the love she'd felt in his arms. It was all crashing back. She'd fallen for him 5 years ago like a woman drowning. Desperately. Completely. He'd been dangerous and damaged and utterly magnetic. But she'd seen the man beneath the armor. The boy who'd watched his father die. The king who ruled an empire but couldn't rule his own heart. She'd loved him. And she'd known it would destroy her. So she'd run. Finding out she was pregnant 2 weeks later had been both a blessing and a curse. She'd thought about telling him. She'd written 100 letters she never sent. But every time she imagined her children growing up in his world, surrounded by violence, by enemies, by a father who couldn't separate love from control, she couldn't do it. She'd chosen safety over truth, and now the truth had found her anyway. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her press accept. Amara. Devon's voice was low, tired. Are they asleep? Her breath caught. How did you get this number? Does it matter? Yes. I need to see them again. No. Please. The word broke something in her. Devon Kang didn't say please. He commanded, demanded, took. But this wasn't a command. It was a plea. You can't just walk into their lives, she whispered. You'll confuse them, scare them. I'm their father. They don't know that. Then tell them. I can't. Why not? Because, her voice cracked, because the moment they know who you are, they stop being safe. Your enemies will find out. They'll use them, hurt them. And I can't. I won't let that happen. Silence stretched between them. I would die before I let anyone hurt them, Devon said quietly. That's not enough. You can't be everywhere. You can't stop every threat. Then I'll bring them into my world. Full security, protected compound, the best of everything. A cage is still a cage, Devon. It's better than being vulnerable. Amara closed her eyes. They're happy here. They have friends. They go to the park. They live normal lives. Normal isn't safe. And your world is? My world is controlled. Your world is violent. I've never hurt you. The words hit like a fist, because he hadn't. Not physically. But he'd hurt her in every other way. By being unreachable. By choosing power over peace. By building walls so high even she couldn't climb them. I need time, she said. How much? I don't know. Amara, please, just give me time to think, to figure out how to do this without destroying everything I've built. Another long silence. 1 week, Devon said. Then I'm coming back, and I'm not asking permission anymore. The line went dead. Amara sank to the floor, pressing her hands against her face. She'd thought running would be the hardest thing she'd ever done. But staying might be harder. The next morning, Devon called a meeting with his inner circle. 12 men sat around a long table in the secure conference room. Each one controlled a piece of his empire. Gambling, real estate, shipping, legitimate fronts hiding illegal operations. Victoria's father, Marcus Chen, sat at the far end. His expression was stone. Gentlemen, Devon began, I'm postponing my marriage. The room erupted. Marcus stood. You can't be serious. I am. We had an agreement. Your family and mine, I understand the agreement. Then honor it. Devon met his gaze. I will. Just not today. Why? Marcus's voice was ice. What could possibly be more important than securing our alliance? Personal matters. Personal. Marcus laughed bitterly. You don't have personal matters. You have responsibilities. I'm aware. Then act like it. Jin spoke up. With respect, Mr. Chen, Devon has given this organization everything. He's allowed to take time for... He's allowed nothing, Marcus snapped. He inherited a crown. That crown comes with duties. And one of those duties is marrying my daughter. Devon's voice was quiet. Lethal. I will marry Victoria. When I'm ready. You're ready now. I'm not. Marcus stared at him. You're making a mistake that will cost you everything. Maybe. Not maybe. Definitely. Marcus grabbed his coat. You have 48 hours to fix this. Or the Chen family withdraws all support. Financial, operational, political, everything. Understood. Marcus stormed out. The room was silent. One of the lieutenants cleared his throat. Boss, if the Chens pull out, we lose 30% of our infrastructure. I know. So what's the plan? Devon looked around the table. Find new infrastructure. That could take months, maybe years. Then we take months. Another lieutenant leaned forward. Sir, respectfully, what's going on? This isn't like you. Davin stood. I'm handling personal business. Jin will coordinate operations until I return. When will that be? I don't know. He left the room before anyone could respond. That afternoon, a package arrived at Amara's apartment. She opened it carefully. Inside was a small wooden box, handcrafted, beautiful, and inside the box, 3 silver bracelets, child-sized, each engraved with a name: Elijah, Zara, Micah. On the bottom of the box, a note in Devin's handwriting. I won't take them from you, but I won't walk away either. Let me prove I can be the father they deserve. Amara held the bracelets, tears streaming down her face, because she knew the truth. Devin Kang never broke a promise, and she didn't know if that terrified her or gave her hope. 3 days passed. Davin kept his distance, but his presence was everywhere. A new security system appeared on Amara's building. Top of the line. Silent. Invisible. But she knew it was there. The daycare the triplets attended suddenly had better doors. Better locks. A security guard who looked too trained, too alert. Groceries appeared on her doorstep. Not delivered by any service she recognized. Just there. Fresh produce. Organic snacks. Expensive cuts of meat she'd never buy herself. He was protecting them. Without asking. Without demanding credit. And it terrified her. Because it meant he was serious. On the 4th day, Amara made a decision. She dressed the triplets in their best clothes, combed Zara's hair into neat braids, made Elijah wear the button-up shirt he hated, let Micah bring his dinosaur. Where are we going? Elijah asked as they walked to the bus stop. To meet someone. Who? Amara's throat tightened. Someone important. They took 2 buses to Koreatown. To a small cafe Amara used to love, where she and Devin had shared coffee and conversation before everything became complicated. She texted him the address. He arrived 10 minutes later. The cafe was quiet. Mid-afternoon lull. Just a few customers scattered at corner tables. Devin walked in wearing jeans and a black sweater. No suit, no armor. Just a man who looked like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes found hers immediately. Then they dropped to the children. Elijah stared up at him, curious. Zara hid behind Amara's leg. Micah clutched his dinosaur tighter. Amara's voice was barely a whisper. Say hello. Hello, Elijah said carefully. Devin crouched down, putting himself at their level. Hi. Are you Mommy's friend? Zara asked. Yes. I'm an old friend. Why do you look sad? Devin blinked. His throat worked. Because I lost something important, and I just found it again. Micah tilted his head. What did you lose? Devin looked at Amara. She nodded slightly. I lost time, he said softly. Time I can never get back. The children didn't understand, but they felt the weight of his words. Do you want to sit with us? Elijah asked. Davin's eyes burned. I'd like that very much. They sat together for an hour. Davin bought them hot chocolate and pastries. He listened to Elijah talk about dinosaurs and space. He helped Zara color a picture of a butterfly. He let Micah show him every detail of his stuffed dinosaur. And Amara watched this man, this powerful, dangerous, untouchable king, become soft. Watched him smile. Really smile. For the first time in 5 years, watched him become a father. When the children went to the bathroom with Amara supervising, Devin sat alone at the table, staring at the 3 empty hot chocolate cups. His hands were shaking. Jin slipped into the seat across from him. He'd been watching from outside, unseen, always protecting. You okay? Jin asked. No. Devin's voice cracked. I just met my children. How do you feel? Destroyed and whole at the same time. Jin was quiet for a moment. You can't do both, you know. What? This life and that one. They don't coexist. Then I'll make them. You'll get them killed trying. Devon looked at him. What would you have me do? Walk away? Protect them from a distance. Let them grow up safe, away from all this. That's not protection. That's abandonment. It's pragmatic. It's cowardice. Jin leaned forward. Listen to me. Victoria's father has given you 48 hours. That deadline is tomorrow. If you don't marry her, the Chen family withdraws. We lose infrastructure, connections, protection. Our enemies will sense weakness. They'll strike. Let them. And when they come for you, when they dig into your life looking for leverage and they find 3 unprotected children in Highland Park, what then? Devon's jaw tightened. I'll kill anyone who touches them. You can't kill everyone. You can't be everywhere. Jin's voice dropped. You taught me that. Power is control. And right now, you're losing control. Amara returned with the triplets. They climbed back into their seats, chattering about the bathroom's fancy soap dispenser. Jin stood, nodded at Devon, and left. Devon forced himself to smile at the children, but Jin's words echoed in his head. You can't do both. That night, Victoria came to his penthouse. She didn't knock. She had a key. Had always had a key. Devon was standing on the balcony, staring at the city. Tomorrow's the deadline, she said. He didn't turn around. I know. My father will destroy you if you don't show up. I know that too. Victoria stepped beside him. She was beautiful in the moonlight, composed, regal, everything a queen should be. Tell me about her, she said quietly. Devon's chest tightened. Victoria, I'm not angry. I need to understand. He was silent for a long moment. She was the first person who made me feel human. And the children? They're mine. Victoria nodded slowly. I figured. I met them today. For the first time. How was it? Perfect. And impossible. Victoria turned to face him. I'm carrying your child, Devon. Our child. You made a promise to me, to my family, to our future. I know. But you're choosing them. I'm not choosing anyone. I'm trying to... You are. You're choosing them. And I understand. Her voice broke. I do. Because if someone kept my child from me, I'd burn the world to find them. Devon looked at her. Really looked. I'm sorry. So am I. She placed a hand on her stomach. But this baby deserves a father who's present, who chooses them, not someone torn between 2 families. I can be there for both. No, you can't. Not in this life. She took off her engagement ring and set it on the balcony railing. I'm releasing you from our agreement. Victoria. My father will be furious. He'll pull support, but I'll convince him not to retaliate. You'll have time to rebuild. Why would you do that? She smiled sadly. Because I saw your face when you talked about them, and I've never seen you look at me that way. Tears burned Devon's eyes. You deserve better. I know. She turned to leave, then paused. But Devon, if you choose them, you have to protect them. No half measures, no distance. You bring them into your world fully, or you leave them alone. I can't bring them into this life. Then you can't have them. She left, and Devon stood alone on the balcony, the city glittering below him like broken glass. The next morning, Amara woke to her phone ringing. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Ms. Bennett? A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. This is Sandra Chen. Victoria Chen's mother. Amara's blood went cold. How did you get? We know everything. About you. About the children. About Devon's. Indiscretion. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't insult my intelligence. Sandra's voice hardened. You're the reason my daughter's engagement fell apart. You're the reason our families are on the brink of war. I didn't ask for any of this. No, you just ran away and hid his children. Very noble." Amara's hands shook. "What do you want?" "I want you to disappear. Again. Take your children. Leave the city. We'll provide resources, money, a new identity. Whatever you need." "In exchange for what?" "For staying away from Davin. Permanently." Amara's throat tightened. "And if I refuse? Then you'll find out what it's like to have enemies you can't see, can't fight, can't escape." Sandra's voice dropped to a whisper. "I protect my daughter. At any cost. Do you understand?" The line went dead. Amara stood frozen in her tiny apartment. The children were still asleep. The morning sun streamed through the windows. Everything looked peaceful, but she felt the walls closing in. And she realized that Devon's world hadn't just found her. It had swallowed her whole. Devon received the call at dawn. Jin's voice was tight, urgent. "We have a problem." "What kind?" Sandra Chen made contact with Amara, threatened her, offered money to disappear. Devon's blood turned to ice. "When?" 20 minutes ago. He was already moving, throwing on clothes, grabbing his keys. "Is she safe?" "For now. But if the Chens are making moves, others will notice. Word is spreading that you have children. Unprotected children. Send security to her building, now." "Already done." Devon ended the call and drove faster than he'd ever driven in his life. 15 minutes later, he was pounding on Amara's door. She opened it, eyes red. The children were at the table eating cereal, oblivious. "We need to leave," Devon said. "Right now." "I'm not going anywhere. Amara, your world is poison." Her voice shook. "I was just threatened by a woman I've never met, because of you. I know, I'm sorry, but if you stay here, if I go with you, it'll be worse. I can protect you. You can't even protect yourself." The words hit like bullets. Devon stepped inside, closing the door. The children looked up. Zara waved. Elijah smiled. Micah went back to his cereal. "I'm not asking you to trust my world," Devon said quietly. "I'm asking you to trust me. I did that once. You chose your empire. I was a coward. I let you walk away because I didn't think I deserved you. I was wrong." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "And now? You have Victoria. You have a baby coming. You have an empire that demands everything. What's different?" "Victoria released me from our engagement." Amara froze. "What?" "She called it off last night." "Why?" "Because she saw what I was too blind to see. That I've been empty for 5 years. That I built an empire, but lost my soul." He stepped closer. "You, and those 3 children, you're the only thing that's ever felt real. You don't know them. Then let me. It's not that simple." "It is. I walk away from the life I built. We disappear together. New city, new identities. I have resources, offshore accounts the organization doesn't know about. We can vanish." Amara stared at him. "You'd give up everything?" "Everything, except you. Your people will come after you. Let them try. Your enemies will hunt you. I'll be ready. And Victoria's baby?" Devon's jaw tightened. "I'll set up a trust. The child will want for nothing. But I can't be the father they need. Not when my heart is somewhere else." Amara pressed her hands to her face. "This is insane." "I know. You'll regret it." "I won't." "How can you be sure?" "Because I've spent 5 years regretting losing you. I'm not doing it again." Silence stretched between them. Zara's voice broke it. "Mommy, why are you crying?" Amara wiped her eyes, forced a smile. "I'm okay, baby." Elijah looked at Devon. "Are you making Mommy sad?" "No," Devon said softly. "I'm trying to make her happy, but I'm not very good at it." "Why not?" "Because I forgot how." Micah climbed down from his chair and walked over. He held up his dinosaur. "You can hold Rex. He makes people happy. Devin's throat closed. He knelt down and took the stuffed animal carefully. Thank you. Micah smiled, then hugged him, and Devin broke. He wrapped his arms around the small boy and held on like he was drowning. Tears streamed down his face. His shoulders shook. Amara covered her mouth, sobbing. Elijah and Zara rushed over, hugging him too. Don't cry, Zara whispered. It's okay. We're here, Elijah added. And in that moment, Devin understood. This was the empire that mattered. Not buildings or money or fear. Just this. Love, family, belonging. 2 weeks later, a small family boarded a private plane. Destination: unknown. Amara held Micah's hand. Devin carried Zara on his shoulders. Elijah ran ahead, shouting about clouds. Behind them, Jin stood on the tarmac watching. Devin had signed over operational control to him, dismantled his criminal connections, liquidated assets, set up trusts for everyone who depended on him, including Victoria's unborn child. He was walking away from billions, from power, from a legacy built over decades. But he wasn't looking back. Jin called out, "You sure about this?" Devin turned, smiled. "For the first time in my life? Yes. What will you do? Be a father, be a partner, be human. You'll miss it. The power, the control. Maybe." Devin looked at his children, at Amara. "But I'd miss this more." Jin nodded. "Be safe, brother." "You too." The plane took off, and Devin Kang, the king who'd ruled with fear and precision, finally felt free. 6 months later, a small coastal town, somewhere quiet. Somewhere far from Los Angeles, and empires and blood. Devin stood in the kitchen of a modest house, making breakfast. Pancakes, slightly burnt. Zara sat at the table, coloring. Elijah was building a fort out of pillows. Micah helped his father flip pancakes, laughing when one hit the floor. Amara walked in, hair messy, wearing one of Devin's old shirts. "You're a terrible cook," she said. "I know. The pancakes are burnt. I know. The kids don't care. I know." She wrapped her arms around his waist, resting her head on his back. "Are you happy?" Devin turned, pulling her close. Deliriously. "No regrets?" "Not one. Even when Elijah asks if we can get a puppy for the 10th time today?" Devin laughed. "Especially then." She kissed him. Soft, sweet, perfect. Behind them, the triplets groaned. "Ew," Zara said. "They're kissing again." "Gross," Elijah agreed. Micah just giggled. Devin pulled back, grinning. "You three better get used to it." "Never," they said in unison. And for the first time in his entire life, Devin Kung felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Not in a tower, not ruling an empire, but here, in a small kitchen, with burnt pancakes and coloring books and laughter, with the family he almost lost, the family he chose. And that was the greatest power of all. The end. Did you fall in love with this story? Imagine experiencing complete romantic series like this every month, full of passion, drama, and unforgettable endings. Join the Romance Audio Club and unlock exclusive multi-part series you can't find anywhere else. Bonus stories delivered straight to your inbox. VIP access to a community of romance lovers just like you. This is just the beginning. Scan the QR code now and step into your next obsession. Because the best love stories, they never really end. They just keep getting better. Don't miss the next chapter. Join today.